Now, over 12 heads of states and governments attended the 19th Non-Aligned Movement Summit hosted in Uganda. The meeting, which started on January 15th, will close today on the 20th of January at Rwenzori Convention Center, Munyonyo in Kampala. Of the United Nations General Assembly, Dennis Francis, is at Makerere University Innovation Hub, and we will definitely keep you posted as he visits and takes a look at the university with Ivan Kahwa later on in our bulletin. We'll still go to the president, who is Yoweri Museveni, that maintained his stance that the world should concentrate on addressing common human problems through trade, the advancement of science and technology to tackle human needs, environmental concerns, crime, and terrorism. He emphasized that respect for fundamental human rights and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations is very important. These remarks were made after he assumed chairmanship of the Non-Aligned Movement. Representative
Madame Elsie Atefa to also then make her welcome remarks. Good afternoon to everyone. Your Excellency Dennis Francis, a very warm welcome. Let me also appreciate other excellencies here, my own very colleague Munir and other UN colleagues here, the Vice Chancellor, and management of Makerere University, friends, media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon again, and what a welcome here. Thank you, VC. Your Excellency, welcome to the Pearl of Africa. Arguably, this is one of the most beautiful countries on earth, and a country that has 11% of the world's bird species are in this country. The source of the Nile, the snow-capped Rwenzori Mountains, Lake Victoria, hot springs, and many, many more. So I do hope that you have a taste of it before you go. But what a historic time also when you come here, when Makerere is celebrating its centenary, and you're part of that celebration. But also when Uganda is hosting the NAM and G77 back-to-back for the very first time. And you also come here at a point in time when Uganda is rising, Africa is rising, and the global south is asserting itself some more, and you've been pushing that agenda. So for us, it's very, very historic. Let me just say a few words around the pod, and I know you'll be going through very soon. The Innovation Pod is part of a wider initiative called the Timbuktu Initiative. It is the largest of its kind in the world to support public universities and also startup ecosystems. As the professor told you earlier on, you know, Makerere alone has 40,000 people. So imagine 40,000 people going through spaces where they can be challenged to do some more. But why are we doing what we are doing? I think that's the most important thing. Africa has a very growing population. 9 of the youngest countries on earth are here in Africa. But we also have the youth challenge, where a number of young people don't have jobs. And so what we are trying to do is to connect to knowledge, to connect to industry. We do hope that through this facility, Timbuktu, which was launched last week in Davos, but our administrator Kim Steiner and Ahuna Ziakonwa leading this, we shall be able to support at least 1,000 strong startup companies that will be unicorns of Africa here. But we also do hope that we can be able to support 50 million jobs and livelihoods directly or indirectly, but also create business value in businesses about about $10 billion. And also ensure that Africa is much more competitive right now, especially in the context of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. How do you then make sure that we can create competitiveness and make sure that we can assert ourselves in the continent? So really exciting time for us. It is the first of its kind in the country, you would see, and we do hope that this will also draw inspiration for other spaces in the country. What we are trying to do is also to have an ecosystem around this. So it's not only the port, we've also refurbished the National ICT Hub in Nakawa, which will connect to the port. We also have a digital transformation roadmap that has been launched, and other spaces in the country where we are trying to connect Ugandans and young people, especially startups. So really exciting time. So I think you are here to keep the fire burning in us to do some more. And once again, thank you for choosing to be here with us and to celebrate this debut, I would say, port, which is the first of its kind in the country. So thank you very much, Excellency. Welcome again.
Thank you so much, Elsie. And Mr. President, I hope that your curiosity now is awakened. And definitely it is. And as you have seen what is written here, innovate and to elevate, we have to imagine. Yes. So this is a space of imagination, of creativity, business unusual, of youth, energy, passion, but connecting with academia, with knowledge, with research. Yes. So we don't want to have too many speeches. We want you to be able to see and connect, and we will continue to discuss as we go along. So welcome to come through the gates of the Unipod. It is a pleasure to host you, as the Vice Chancellor has said.
If I may, I'd like to make one remark.
Yes.
About imagining and innovating. Disney World. Disney World. When Walt Disney set out, he himself never imagined that he would create this extraordinary engine of commercial success. All he had were ideas and sketches that were brought to life and made popular. And that concept became the anchor for what we know today as Disney World. It really is an extraordinary achievement. And it goes to the power and potential of the human mind and the human spirit. That if you can imagine it, you can probably do it. And so that's the challenge here. That is my challenge to the pod. To convert your ideas, your imaginative strengths into meaningful assets, because that is what they are. That is what intellectual property is all about. It's about creating value where there is none. And don't take intellectual property for granted. You have a lot of it that you may not even be aware of. Things like traditional knowledge, you know, that is passed down intergenerationally from one generation to the next. You know, the uses of herbs out in your back garden that can be applied to as home remedies. You know, large companies are now seeking to isolate the important ingredient. And so now, when I was a child growing up, we learned in my country, if you are an insomniac, you go out into the yard, you pick a few leaves off the soursop tree, you boil it and drink it, and in no time you're sleeping like a baby. Now you can go to the store and buy tea bags under a brand called Sleepy Time. That's intellectual property. It tells you the power of what we already have, the things we take for granted.
That's true.
That can be developed and commercialized to add value to our societies and to drive our development. And so Africans are by nature imaginative people. and artistic people. So I have no doubt that this center will be an extraordinary success and make a very important contribution to not just to innovation, but to development in Uganda, in Africa, and in the global south. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing the actual mechanics of what you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome again.
Thank you. That was a powerful message and resonates. So we are in alignment. We'll take you through.
Well, for those who are watching UBC TV, we are broadcasting live from the Makerere University Business Hub, and the president of the 78th session of the UN General Assembly, Dennis Francis, has just given us a brief regarding what they do expect from this innovation hub. They are explaining some of the artwork, and let's hear what they are saying.
Especially here in Central Region in Uganda, they used to use not banana leaves, but palm leaves to create different kinds of functional forms, and this is basketry.
Yes.
And whereby this person wants to communicate to you that this was essential back then.
Yes.
Whereby people used these as storages for different kinds of commodities, fruits and foodstuffs and all, harvesting and all that. And the artist himself looked at the grandmother in her times and trying to communicate something, that how I wish this was still persistent in all families, because this was a common habit
Yes.
for all women in our society.
Yes.
So
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, the president is being showed around, and some of the innovations, including the photography that is actually being designed. The president is looking at some of the innovations that have been designed, by the way, by students studying at Makerere University. Well, there is also that photo that portrays that people are thinking about money, and that is the innovation right there that shows each and everyone thinks about aspects of life in monetary terms. So there is a molded kind of design which is being explained to the president.
Already this was wood, but abandoned, but the artist himself wanted to create something that can be used for outdoor decoration using wood and some metal on it. This was one of the common habits here in Africa, still persistent, but it was within the beer party. And the local brew that we had here, it used to bring people together, to
Yes.
think together.
Yes.
To,
Unity.
Yeah, unity, that unity. So it is not common now. However, we are calling up for it. We need it back in our society. So this is also abandoned material. The artist himself used an avocado as a source of inspiration to create all this. Same to this, abandoned wood with metal.
Well, the president is proceeding. There are still quite some innovations around here which are being shown to him, right from those that were thrown away, that maybe someone might think that they are now garbage or non-useful. The students at Makerere have redesigned them to ensure they create something out of them. So the entire place is filled with art onto the walls. As you can see there onto your screen, all this is art done by students of Makerere University. And let's hear the explanation they are giving.
How can we use the already sourced material? We have the material itself. How can we use that material itself to create a positive change into the society itself? Because the society is only thinking of a new thing, but we have all the things. However, how can we make them new into the society itself? How can we be persistent with what we created?
What you are saying, innovation is not far from us.
It's not far from us.
That's right.
Yes, just adding value to what we create. Yes, that's it.
For those watching, we are still outside. We have not yet really entered, but there is a last photo here, artistic impression.
The artist is communicating something here. The artist himself is a survivor of abduction into war that happened in northern Uganda. And he is communicating something about the agony, the pain the people go through into that place they went to. He was a bachelor student, actually he's part of us here, and he's trying to say something here. How can we use art to communicate what is wrong in society? Mm-hmm. So that is what he's trying to communicate here. So he's an artist, he's a textile designer. Yes.
He's a textile designer.
He's a textile designer.
It's a very sad picture.
It's a very sad picture. So it's the same with that there, that artwork there, those two pieces.
Well, some of the fine art here getting people emotional, showing pieces where abductees, the young children who have survived in war zones, the women who are affected by the wars. It's indeed some kind of fine art that brings about a lot of emotions into anyone's face. At this point in time, the president will be headed inside the Innovation Hub to look at different innovations that have been designed by the students at Makerere University. This hub hosts quite a number of innovations, right from agriculture, technology, and even many others. It is actually called a unipod, and this is where much of the work is done. They work hand in hand with other people. They work hand in hand with other branches, including the UICT, the National Guidance Hub in Nakawa, where they do really contribute to some of the innovations and ideas that are put into reality at this specific place.
We also have electronics.
Explain it's the CNC. What is CNC?
Oh, yeah. So within the CNC, it's computerized numerical control, where we have different technology to support production of either metal or wood kind of designs to come out in terms of products. We have the electronics section to also support the development of small electronic gadgets. It also has space for renewable energy production during their ideation stage up to the final product. We also have the knowledge transfer office that supports the ideation development from the prototyping. Then we support them in registration of the IPs to commercialization, which we anticipate will take us into the industrial kind of development or setting up actual companies for these different young people. Then it also has the food tech, where we are, it's going to support the processing or value addition for some of the different food processing, maybe oil and, yeah. So this is the maker space. So this is the lobby. Now this is to allow the young people to come in and find space to also think.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have a food tech section. Oh. Now in here, we have the lecturer in here. And now these are the students, and those are some of the products we've actually worked on. And these are the different machines that we have received from UNDP. The good thing or the news is the students and the staff have been involved in the actual installation of the equipment, but also we already had some students who are already into the production of some of these products. But this is the space that they'll be using for production. Then they take their ideas to the tech transfer office to support them into the actual commercialization.
Your Excellency, another dean of food technology and bioengineering.
Gender.
Well, the president is checking about some of the products here.
Natural sweet banana, it says. Yeah, I'm an innovator in wine brewing, brand called Raven Cook Wine. I'm a third-year student doing a degree of science in forestry, and I add value to sweet cherry banana, green lemon, soya milk, honey to make this product in a bit of solving the problem of increasing levels of fruit wastage here in Uganda. Yeah.
And how long does it take from start to end to get the wine?
From start, the minimum is 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah. Then the end is infinity because it doesn't go bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a good wine, at least 1 year and above.
Yes, because it has to mature. Okay. Okay. So while that is happening, while the wine is sitting there being improved,
currently,
how are you living?
Like
because you can't sell it yet. It's not ready to be sold.
He's a student.
Under 1 year. Yeah, but that's what I'm forcing him to think. In the real world, because the wine will have to be financed. In the real world, it will take you 1 year to be able to start to sell the wine. But you need income in that year because you have other expenses. So maybe you have to do other products with a shorter maturation time that you can sell to give you the income to tide you over until the wine is ready. Huh? That's business. That's the reality because, you need money every day. Every day, the minute you leave your home, I've discovered, you're spending money. You have to pay the taxi. Huh? You have to buy lunch. The minute you step out. So you have to think strategically, as an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur, this is important and it's good and it's high quality and you can maybe do this and make a good living, but in the interim, while the wine is getting better, huh?
A free lesson. But I wanted you to have a
Well, the president having a chat with some of the innovators. There's one of the innovators who did innovate wine using some of the local raw materials and even plants grown in this country, Uganda. This is a food hub where like wine and coffee are actually made. Moving to the next area, probably a lot of activity is really taking place in this specific territory. So we are headed to the computer design. This is where they have set up the IT equipment and lots of.
This is where they do the workshop of design.
So this is the IT room where they do many of the graphics kind of work. This is the outlook, and let's see what they are telling the president.
Ideation space. Most of the ideas start from here. But why is this space important? We are in a digital world. So most of the designs are going to be digitally enabled.
Yes.
So we've had these high-tech computers with high-tech softwares that are going to help students design products. And then these products that are designed are sent to the CNC workshop, the computer numerical control workshop. They are sent to the 3D printers. They are sent to electronics, because after here, the internet networks are able to send the products of this kind of, 3D devices, 3D products to the printers for that. But the most important thing is that we want to use this digital world, leverage on digitalization, to assist the different designs for the different products. And we have some of the students who have designed some of these products, which they use these computers to design them and then be able to send them to the other side. You'll be able to see how this is linked to the rest of the spaces. But most of the ideas start in this room. Yeah.
So this is the engine room.
Yes, this is the engine room.
Very good. The thinking room.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan.
Good.
Mr. President,
Yes?
we are doing a tour.
Well, from the ICT hub, the place is indeed a little bit big, but the president still being moved around to appreciate some of the technologies in this specific area. The people are a little bit many, but you will excuse us if you are seeing a picture that is a little bit wobbling, but we shall try as much as possible to give you the real picture you are meant to see. Now, these are textile designs where there are some of the high-end machines that enable the students to recreate designs that from the ICT. So right there, these are the specific designs that have actually been made by the students at this specific innovation hub. Every room here that houses any kind of innovation has something textile just right up there that shows you are in, and this is a replica in most of the territories. So the entire is big, and quite a number of things are taking place here. So as the president is told that room, we shall keep moving and wait for him as it comes to even other territories. There is this busy computers, and I believe there are quite many things that do really actually happen in this specific area. But as the president comes, let me talk to this young innovator right here to tell us. I'm seeing a lot of things here, lights and so forth. You're live on UBC. Kindly tell us which kind of innovation is this? And
my name is and I'm an engineering. So on this desk we analyze circuit boards, we assemble them using the soldering guns here, and then the users analyze their performance. As you analyze the signals, you input it, and then you usually on the groundwork. In class, so to fully understand the soldering bit and the signal analysis, because in electrical engineering we are studying signals.
This product, is there anywhere you are outside or something?
Oh yes, we use this Raspberry Pi we use it basically to create a mini computer. Yeah, it can act from just the circuit board.
And how do I attach?
You can see these are USBs. You can see that the internet. This is where the video comes from. So basically all around here, just these two components.
An innovation. It's computer. Explain. Right.
Of internet problems, but we'll definitely take you back to the live with Ivan Kahwa, of the president of the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Dennis Francis, who is at Makerere University, visiting the Innovation Hub, taking a look at some of the innovations that some of the youth in Uganda are actually carrying out, and some of the things that they've innovated, to see and also advise and basically admire as well, and I guess get encourage more youth into innovation. We'll continue with our news as we wait for stabilization of the network. Over 12 heads of state and governments attended the 19th Non-Aligned Movement Summit hosted in Uganda. Now, the meeting, which started on January 15th, will close today on the 20th of January at Rwenzori Convention Center, Munyonyo, in Kampala.
Heads of state for the NAM Summit arrived on Thursday and Friday morning. Among them are East African Community heads of states, including President William Ruto of Kenya, Salva Kiir of South Sudan, Hassan Sheikh Mohamud of Somalia, and Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi. President Ismail Omar Gele of Djibouti, and also chairman of Intergovernmental Authority on Development, or IGAD, is also in the country. Also, Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Equatorial Guinea's Todrio Obiang Nguema, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, the President of the Central African Republic, Archangel Tradera, and His Excellency Eric Mokwesi Masisi of Botswana are in the country. Others include Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, President of New Caledonia Luis Mapao, President of Bosnia and Herzegovina Her Excellency Zelika Vianovic, and President of Sri Lanka Ranil Wickremesinghe. The heads of state and governments will also attend the G77 Plus China Summit, which starts on the 21st to 23rd of January 2024. Diano Olweny-Peters, UBC News.
President Museveni has maintained his stance on that the world should concentrate on addressing common human problems through the advancement of science and technology to tackle human rights and human issues, environmental concerns, crime and terrorism. He emphasized the respect for fundamental human rights and the sovereignty and territorial integration of all nations. These remarks were made after he assumed the chairmanship of the Non-Aligned Movement.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has officially assumed office of the chairman of the Non-Aligned Movement for the next 3 years. He received leadership from the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, the former chairman of the Non-Aligned Movement, who was represented by the Azerbaijan Foreign Minister. The former chairman of the Non-Aligned Movement called for unity to address resistance and growing challenges.
During its chairmanship, Azerbaijan took practical steps to uphold the interests of the member states at the international arena, guided by the principle of cementing their solidarity and extending mutual support. Azerbaijan built its priorities and activities upon historical Bandung principles and has approved a comprehensive action plan regarding its chairmanship in the Non-Aligned Movement.
Since its admission to the NAM in 2011, Azerbaijan has played a crucial role in international relations, strengthening unity within the movement by defending the principles of international law.
Admission of the South Sudan will be the first expansion of NAM membership in 13 years, bringing the number of member states to 121. This proves a growing validity and increased importance of our movement in the international relations system. Azerbaijani chairmanship has made consistent efforts to promote the practice of demonstrating support to nominations of NAM member states to various positions in the international organizations.
The Azerbaijan leadership expressed confidence in the upcoming leadership of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to steer the agenda of the movement.
We are handing over the chairmanship to the Republic of Uganda with a rich, substantial and institutional legacy. We are confident that Uganda will spare no effort towards further enhancing the role and visibility of the movement and strengthening unity among its member states.
President Museveni labeled NAM as a necessary antidote to the irrational polarization of the world between capitalistic Western countries and communist, mainly Eastern countries.
We were the third generation of the African anti-colonial freedom fighters. The first generation had been the African-American Pan-Africanists such as Marcus Garvey, George Padmore, W.B. Du Bois, that had been joined by those who founded the African National Congress of South Africa in 1912.
He emphasized that the direct colonization of Africa was orchestrated by evil imperialistic forces through forms of slave trade, worsened by chiefs and kings who out of selfishness could not unite and fight the oppressors.
The second generation of the African freedom fighters were people like Mzee Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania, Nelson Mandela of South Africa, etc., who emerged in the 1940s.
The president emphasized opting for political economics to discover the fundamental laws that govern the motion of society from one social system to another. This step discovered that man, who emerged in Africa, had been the main actor and coped with oppression by nature, including floods, droughts, diseases, wild animals, and earthquakes.
Another form of oppression of man emerged. This was the operation of man by fellow men. So man had two problems now. Operation of man by nature, operation of man by fellow men.
Museveni stated that societies advancing in science and technology lay a basis for positive social change and should be encouraged by the progressive forces of the world.
This encouragement should be irrespective of the social systems of the concerned societies.
He stressed that the world should concentrate on common human problems, achieving prosperity through trade, free from stereotypes that misrepresent the nature and ability of Africa.
Here we are dying from food. We have so much food here. Africa has got everything. Here we have everything. What we need from other people are markets and investments. But we shall not only sell to you, we shall also buy from you. We are not like others who want only to sell to others but not buy from them.
He called for respect for fundamental human rights, sovereignty and territorial integrity of all nations, recognition of equality of all races and nations, large and small, and abstention from intervention and interference in the internal affairs of another country.
Respect for the right of each nation to defend itself singly or collectively in conformity with the Charter of the United Nations. Abstention from the use of arrangements of collective defense to serve the particular interests of any of the big powers. Abstention by any country from exerting pressure on other countries. 7, refraining from acts of threats, of aggression, or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any country. Settlement of all international disputes by peaceful means, such as negotiation, conciliation, arbitration, or judicial settlement, as well as other peaceful means of the parties' own choice, in conformity with the Charter of the United Nations. Promotion of mutual interests and cooperation, and respect for justice and international obligation. It is on these principles that
the presence of people from around the world, especially members of the non-aligned movement, enables core interactions to address common human problems. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Azerbaijan Foreign Minister, His Excellency Ceyhun Bayramov, who represented Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev, called on Uganda to strengthen the unity among the NAM member states. This was before he handed over chairmanship of the non-aligned movement to Uganda. Azerbaijan assumed chair in 2019, leaving the mantle to Uganda for the next 3 years.
We should stay united in the face of existing and growing challenges and endeavor to make our movement be capable of and sufficiently equipped in coping with them. 4 years ago, at the 18th summit of the NAM held in Baku, the Republic of Azerbaijan assumed the chairmanship of the movement, which, I can proudly say, in the past few years have become one of the key players in international relations. As the outgoing chair of the non-aligned movement, Azerbaijan has spared no efforts towards further increasing the effectiveness of and strengthening unity within the movement. I truly believe that the Kampala summit will become a privileged opportunity for us to take stock of the progress of our work achieved since NAM Baku summit and to further advance the objectiveness set therein. Before starting our deliberations, I want to draw your attention to the following. The list of leaders of the non-aligned movement member states who passed away since the 18th summit of the non-aligned movement held in Baku, the Republic of Azerbaijan, on 25-26 October 2019, has been circulated among all delegations. I invite all participants of this summit to stand and observe a minute of silence in tribute to the memory of those who lost their lives. We can now proceed to our deliberations. The provisional agenda for the summit has been circulated among all delegations. Can I consider that there are no objections to the agenda? That seems to be the case, and the agenda of the summit is hereby adopted. Excellencies, I am also delighted to share that during Azerbaijani chairmanship, we had certain milestone achievements towards enlargement of the movement. During our chairmanship, the non-aligned movement has been expanded in both its membership and observer composition. At the mid-term NAM Ministerial Summit held in Baku, the Russian Federation was granted an observer status in the movement. At the ministerial meeting of NAM Coordinating Bureau held in Baku in July 2023, we have agreed to forward the request of South Sudan, the only non-NAM member state from African continent, for full-fledged membership in the non-aligned movement to the Kampala summit. Admission of the South Sudan will be the first expansion of NAM membership in 13 years, bringing the number of member states to 121. This proves a growing validity and increased importance of our movement in the international relations system. Excellencies, these were some highlights from multidimensional and intense activities of Azerbaijani NAM chairmanship from 2019 to 2024. Excellencies, at this historic moment, after 4 years of proudly chairing the movement, we are handing over the chairmanship to the Republic of Uganda with a rich, substantial and institutional legacy. We are confident that Uganda will spare no effort towards further enhancing the role and visibility of the movement and strengthening unity among its member states. I would like to reiterate that although our chairmanship came to an end, our passion and determination for the success of NAM will always remain strong. We will continue to contribute to a just cause pursued by the movement within the NAM Troika. I wish the distinguished friends from Uganda all the best in their chairmanship and express our readiness to extend all the necessary support in this process. Azerbaijan is proud to take over a new important international responsibility. In fall 2024, Baku will be hosting the 29th Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. As the host of COP29, we rely on precious support by the NAM member states and look forward to welcoming you to Azerbaijan. I thank you all.
The transition of the non-aligned movement chairperson was historic and a symbolic moment when President Yoweri Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, received the mantle from Ceyhun Bayramov of Azerbaijan.
Excellencies, at this historic moment, after 4 years of proudly chairing the movement, we are handing over the chairmanship to the Republic of Uganda with a rich, substantial and institutional legacy. We are confident that Uganda will spare no effort towards further enhancing the role and visibility of the movement and strengthening unity among its member states. I would like to reiterate that although our chairmanship came to an end, our passion and determination for the success of NAM will always remain strong. We will continue to contribute to a just cause pursued by the movement within the NAM Troika. I wish the distinguished friends from Uganda all the best in their chairmanship and express our readiness to extend all the necessary support in this process. Azerbaijan is proud to take over a new important international responsibility. In fall 2024, Baku will be hosting the 29th Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. As the host of COP29, we rely on precious support by the NAM member states and look forward to welcoming you to Azerbaijan. I thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item in the agenda is election by acclamation of the chair of the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of NAM. I propose the distinguished delegations to elect by acclamation His Excellency, Mr. Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, as chair of the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of NAM. So I declare His Excellency, Mr. Yoweri Museveni, as the chair of the 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of NAM. I invite His Excellency to assume his chairmanship. The floor is yours, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much.
That was President Yoweri Museveni taking over as the chairman of the non-aligned movement, and his tenure runs from 2024 to 2027. And yes, he assumed that seat yesterday on the 19th of January 2024 in Munyonyo. Thank you so much for watching. That's all we had for you this afternoon. My name is Sharon Chomdisha. Stay tuned for more programming coming your way and also more updates about the NAM Summit. We are the national broadcaster and we bring you everything live. Have a good afternoon.